1, 2, 3, 4. I won't deny it, I'm a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with me. Got the police looking for me. But I'm calm cause I'm smoking that CBD. Said I won't deny it, I'm a Southsider. You don't wanna mess with me. Got the police looking for me. But I'm chilling in the back of the VIP. Said we won't deny it, we are Southsiders. You don't wanna mess with us. Got the police looking for us. But there's nothing that they can do. Cause you're chilling with the Blessed Life podcast crew. What's up, what's good? We're back in the neighborhood. Doing podcasts the way we should.
Baby.
Oh, Thomassen, it's been a minute, man. Doing the podcast. Say hello.
It's been a hot minuto.
Catching up.
Salud.
Sober October is over. In fact, it's almost December. Just had a Thanksgiving to remember, and I've been in and out. We've been in and out. I was in St. Louis visiting family there, and also went to see Metallica 2 nights in a row, son. Metallica.
Sick.
Yes.
They still brought that fire, though, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's in my top 10 best shows of all time.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I really fully realized it while it was going on. But the next few days, the friggin' songs were repeating over and over again in my head. And it was a great time, man.
That's awesome. I got to give props to bands that just keep it going over the years. You know, you got guys like the Rolling Stones, like they've been doing that since, the Precambrian days of the Triassic period, and to still bring the fuego even, as you age and still have that get up, because there's a certain, you gotta not just have passion to it, but you have to be I have to imagine some of it's you have to be an endurance athlete for it. It's
kind of,
so I guess you just get so good at it that it's maybe not as difficult, but it's got to take its toll. So it's got to be like a gradual ebb and flow, a gradual erosion of your, like Phil Collins, after a certain point you're just too old for it. You don't have the joie de vivre, the magic sauce
he lost
anymore.
his hearing, dude.
Yeah.
So he just can't really do the music anymore because he's deaf. He doesn't know what's happening when. Or he's getting very close to that point. He's lost a lot of hearing, which is probably very common for these guys in bands unless they get hearing protection. Like when I was in a band, it was a specially made hearing aids. Or hearing earplugs. So they would just shoot a gel in there. It's custom fitted, and they would have these screens that go in. You can change how many decibels it raised or lowered the volume.
That's cool.
Yeah, in this and. More specifically, they lowered the volume. So I think I had mine lowered by 20 decibels or whatever.
Gotcha.
But to your point, for guys like the Rolling Stones or any of these bands that are still going, number one, it's crazy enough that they're still playing shows.
Yeah.
Number two, some of those dudes are still having kids. I think Mick Jagger and them, they're in their 70s, going on almost 80 probably.
We got someone in preschool.
Just had some kids a couple of years ago. Another one, shout out to the guy who's giving all the old dudes a friggin', giving them props and all this out there is fucking Al Pacino, dude. That guy is another one guy. He's in his 70s. I think he just had a kid with a chick who's in her 30s or something.
I guess
and
that's
they did a paternity test,
yeah.
and it's his. So, wow, congratulations, brother.
He's still putting points up.
Yeah, he's still putting points up. Friggin' him, Scorsese, De Niro, Pesci, they're still making movies. I guess if you can... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're still balling out of control, you may as well be having kids.
I guess so. I always thought, God, what was that movie where, The Irishman, where De Niro, where he was in there.
Scorsese directing.
And Pesci there.
De Niro. And Al Pacino.
Pacino? Yeah, because he was...
The big three mafioso guys. All in one movie.
That was a long movie, but it was a good movie. So there was a lot of hate on it, but I didn't think it was entirely warranted. I enjoyed it. So
it was a good movie. Yeah.
It was just
one
kind
where
of
the 3 hours were kind of
it was just kind of rough with De Niro going back into his younger days where they just CGI'd him and he still walks like an old man. I remember this one scene. He's beating some guy's ass outside of a convenience store, and he's like,
And he still whooped the guy's ass, but it was like in a slow old man way where it's like, I don't think he would have really whooped that dude's ass in real life.
I don't think it would have. Yeah, I don't. It didn't.
He was
look
one
too
step too
believable.
slow. The movie should have been made probably 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's easy with the CGI, you guys.
He used to be a beast back in the day. Like,
show the fight from his POV with like a younger dude kicking his ass, so it's not like him moving slow. Come on, guys.
Right.
Like nobody consulted you on that. You know what I mean? Put it from like the back. You see the guy's back, and it looks like De Niro in his old age, but it's a young guy wearing a wig. It's like you in there,
some old school shit. Yeah,
whooping some dude's ass.
Yeah, something a little bit more with a little bit more like oomph to it, you know. But that's all right. The plot and everything and the execution, it was fine. It was a great movie.
Tremendous. And these bands that are out there now, apparently what they're doing is they're literally bringing like physical trainers with them on the road and working out. And maybe even some of them nutritionists and chefs. And they're doing less shows like Metallica. Earlier I said they played 2 nights in a row. What I meant was there was 2 shows while I was there, but one of them was on Friday night, the other one was on Sunday night. So they had Saturday off.
Yeah.
And apparently those are like the only 2 shows they were playing that week. So it gives them time to recover. Because like Ice Cube was saying in an interview, I think it was on Rogan, he's like, the older dudes can still ball. He's like, because he has that league, the Big 3, where they have like retired NBA players will do just like 3-on-3. And it sells apparently pretty well. He's like, they can still ball. He's like, it just takes them a lot longer to recover. Like they can't recover like the young dudes can.
Yeah. What's that song? I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
One of my favorite songs, brother. One of my favorite songs, dude. It identifies me so well. You know what I mean? It's like I identify with that so much. I'm like, I'm getting a little older, but we're going to be talking about fitness and all this shit today. It's like you don't feel old when you take good care of yourself and when you exercise, so it keeps you years younger if you do it. So, yeah. You know, I guess we got to keep at that. So, how was your Thanksgiving, brother? What'd you do?
Oh, it was a good time. We went to this dinner theater in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, known as the Fireside. Apparently, it's been a long time, decades, maybe 100 years or something like that. I'm not sure, but I think since like the early 1900s, there's been some kind of a business, and then it's basically like this big, like mid-century modern, like I think it was built in like 78, like the main structure. It's all kinds of crazy. Like there's no like kind of rhyme or reason to it inside. It's got like weird structural beams going everywhere, and that's like your dinner theater. And they'll have like streams that run through it, and like, you know, fake plants, and like painted walls. So the whole place is like a trip. It's kind of an acid trip, and they recently refurbished it and modernized it a bit. It's even more of an acid trip. It's just very cool. It's like again, it's like something out of the Jetsons or whatever like that.
So it's like a modern?
Yeah, like mid-century modern. I think it was futuristic in 78. So it's like whatever they thought the future would look like in 78 when they made it. And so it's interesting, just architecture. And then they got like little gift shops and stuff. And you go into like the dining facility and dining hall, and they got like little streams that run through there with plants and stuff. And it's a whole unique experience. And for Thanksgiving, they've been doing, sometimes they'll give like multiple course meals there for like a typical dinner, but with Thanksgiving they do this like big ass buffet, like these 2 buffet lines with you know, like beer battered cod, you know, obviously the turkey, roast beef, like hams, all kinds, you know, all the fixing you can name, mac and cheese, potatoes, stuffing, all kinds of shit. Like just literally like whatever, you know, you can't eat it all. Then they'll have a salad that comes with it. Then they'll have a dessert.
I like to put a little bit of everything on there.
Bread.
They'll have try it all.
Yeah, it's just, and their drinks, don't hold back on the booze. I like a place where they're just, you know, where you get what you pay for, where you're not just having like, you know, a little tincture.
You're getting value in that.
Yeah. You hit a Mai Tai there, you're like, yeah.
Oh, here's a Mai Tai. Watch me pour the alcohol.
Hey, yeah.
Just they're going heavy on that pour. You're like, oh shit. I don't even like them that heavy anymore, to be honest with you. But I'll take it if they're giving it to me. You know.
Yeah, and
I just won't drink so many of them.
And we, like I was mentioning before, we met a combat choreographer at the bar.
Interesting
very
story,
unique lady.
Dude. Yeah, tell me about it.
I can't pronounce her name. actually, even if I could, I don't want to drop it here against her, you know. But anyways, combat choreographer, very interesting lady from New York. She teaches down south at just teaches choreography. I think it's a university, or a school. I'm not sure exactly. But like, I learned a bunch of stuff, like how there's different styles of sword fighting. There's like German long sword, which is like two-handed sword fighting. Then there's like rapier, like Three Musketeers style. And then there's like fencing with a little like, you know, toothpicker thing. Then there's like single-handed like katana. Then there's knife fighting too. So there's like 6 distinct different disciplines of, you know, sword fighting, at least for choreography purposes. But very interesting. I never met a combat choreographer
She
before.
schooled you to the combat choreography game, huh?
Yeah, been like, and they train with like metal too. And like, apparently, you can train with like steel or aluminum, and there's pros and cons to each. Like the steel is heavier, but the aluminum is lighter. So the aluminum is kind of ghetto and can kind of bend because it's not as hard as steel. So it's like, you, depending on what you're doing, you choose like steel or aluminum. It's interesting stuff, and I've always been kind of into. I always liked, you know, like knives and stuff like that. I've always been into. I see a new cool pocket knife. Ooh, I gotta have it. You know, it's like I collect them. So it was interesting. I didn't really get to talk to her about knife fighting. She was more into the you know, the sword fighting type aspect, which is interesting.
But she but all types of fighting, hand to hand. She does all that kind of choreography.
I think so,
or is
yeah.
sword fighting more her thing?
Yeah, she was saying about how like just the stunts that she was doing it kept pulling her hamstrings and stuff, and like a different workout routine she was doing to like strengthen her glutes, and with, you know, deadlifts and whatnot. I was talking about my workouts and stuff that I do. Real interesting cat.
Verbally flexing.
Yeah.
This is what I do.
This is
I
what
use
I
these
do.
50-pounders.
What? Yeah. No.
Don't hold out on us here at Thomassen. Apparently, she was pretty good looking / easy on the eyes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
her boyfriend was like, if I'm being nice, just saying it quickly, not the easiest on the eyes, giving hope out there to all the dudes who are like, maybe not Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt or something, but.
Well, I will say this. I want to caveat that observation with, you know, the slightly, in terms of the aesthetics of each individual. Like hers were way up here, his was kind of down there. However,
No disrespect to the guy.
no disrespect, more respect to the guy for game. You know, respect to game. You know what that is? That's theater kid energy right there.
The other possibility is that
kids.
he was once an Adonis, but let himself go like just a slug while the old lady was just cleaning up on
It's
that
possible.
choreography money, that movie money.
But I think what it was, she was telling me about her ex-boyfriend who was like in the National Guard. So I think it was like a rebound from like her alpha, Army National Guard boyfriend to like kind of a more beta.
This guy was there just at the right time, in the heat of the moment. He was just like there at the right time, just swooped in.
But the thing
Seize
was,
opportunity, all you ugly ass dudes out there.
Because she might be done with, you know, the studs, the Adonises, and she might want something new for a change.
Not that guy was ugly.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you're done with that one lane, now you're going to try different. You're done with the express lane, now you're going to go, you know, over into the right lane and, you know, the slower lane, and see how that suits you. Maybe a little less anxiety. You got to worry about your Chad of a boyfriend running around on you because you know you got, you know, Dorky McDorkerson on lock. Like, it's just less anxiety. So there's something to be said with that. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he's a regular Harvey Weinstein, this fucking guy. Like,
might be.
Not that bad as far as, like, being a rapist or something, but, like, fucking, maybe he's just a fucking hound dog, you know what I mean?
He could be.
Who knows? The world's full of possibilities. But, yes, I see what you're saying. Most likely, like, this guy, in terms of who has more to lose or gain, like, you're going to be fooling around. You already got a hot chick who's, like, working in the movie industry, bro. And you could have spent all that time while the actors' strike is going on and the Screenwriters Guild is on strike. You had this extra time and you could be swooning her like it's Valentine's Day and shit. Ooh.
But I will say this.
Step your game up.
There's potential in the entertainment / theater industry. You know what I mean? Because this guy was in the play. Like, he was a performer there. And she does, you know, choreography performances.
She's writing John Wick, and this guy's doing Broadway on the Wisconsin circuit.
So it's like that theater kid energy shit, like where it's just I think it's different culture with your performers and stuff. So there's more of a bandwidth as opposed to, like, you know, you ever see like a gym couple come in, right? You know, they're both like attractive people that are fit or whatever.
Right.
Different in like I think in like theater or whatever. It's just because you're all in that, and it's probably sort of like at least with regional local places, it's probably a shorter, smaller microcosm of people. So it's like I think to an extent, people like to. Like kind of birds of a feather flock together sometimes in industries or whatever. And that's the people you're exposed to all the time. You're on the road, you're touring, you see other theater kids basically. And so but there's not that many of them out there. It's kind of like a niche thing. So I think it's just maybe like it's just a smaller microcosm. There's less people to, choose from. Because
if she's doing shit for Hollywood, though, she's living in Wisconsin?
It's not. No, she's down in Texas. So,
Texas.
And it's not how. It's like a local college or something like that. So it's not like... And I don't think or like a local university.
So she teaches it?
Yeah. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting situation.
Does she have some movie credits that she did before she, like...
I don't think so.
Before she started teaching? Oh, okay.
I think it's like stage performance choreography.
Yeah, like, get ready to...
Yeah, I don't think it's like
Shakespeare,
Hollywood.
if you need to stab it out between the Romeo and Juliet and the Capulets and all this bullshit.
Nah, yeah, it's like that type of...
I gotcha. Well, the food was bomb, right? Like
it was indeed bomb, and the show was bomb too. Her boy Goofy McGooferson, who played in the play, he killed it. He did a great job.
Better hope she never sees it. Goofy McGooferson.
He seems like a real nice guy. And like that, all the more props to him for like landing that. So respect. But yeah, I'd never seen Scrooge the musical. It was Scrooge the musical. I'd only seen Scrooge the play. Yeah. So when they add in songs and performances and dancing and stuff, it got kind of trippy because I'd never seen it before. But they kept it true to form for the most part. It wasn't all reinvented or anything. I liked it. The execution was they have a small stage. Like it's just like it's a 360 surround theater. There's a stage in the middle, right?
So
and there's seats on all sides. Yeah, seats, balconies, all around. And it's like a relatively small rectangular stage with a cylindrical lift that comes up through the bottom, this huge hydraulic lift where they'll all of a sudden like 10 people just emerge from the floor on the hydraulic lift on stage, do their routine, get it back, it goes down, you change out the set, raise it up. Yeah, it's cool. Lights, effects, smoke, mirrors, all that action. Dancers, songs, and I will say this about Scrooge the musical. I liked the script and everything, but I didn't really hear any of the songs before. The songs were kind of weak, but like they really spiced it up with these, kick-ass dance routines, and all the costumes were buck wild. Like they come out as like these like ethereal like ghouls and stuff are dancing for like the ghost of Christmas future or whatever, and
you got like Scrooge coming out like every day. I'm shuffling, doing the friggin'...
They're putting footwork. Yeah, they're putting in footwork, stunting.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, no, I like a good story like that, or one of those good holiday things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be holiday things. If it's like a play or a musical, if there's like a good message there, or like it's teaching you some kind of life lesson, really cool stuff.
It is a good lesson, a good message in Scrooge, I think. I get the sense, like, honestly, as I was watching the musical, it was like, Scrooge going around, he's like, I think in some iterations he was basically like a solicitor and an attorney, and in other iterations, like in this one, he was more of a lender. So he was just going around to all like his, everyone who owed him money, and the debtors, and be like, "Oh, you, sir, Mr. Montgomery, owe me 6 pence plus 3 shillings in interest over the last 2 weeks. You've been
that was before inflation. Yeah, that shit was a lot back then.
So so he's going around like just. And people are, just give me 1 more week, 2 more weeks. He's like, you have till tomorrow. He's kind of a hard ass or whatever. And so, and he's just like lives and dies by his work, basically. And he's just basically tapped out with the world.
I'd rather him be a lender. He's giving lawyers a bad name if he's a lawyer.
Yeah, he was a lender in this iteration. Good. But like they introduced like Cratchit, like his number 2, like his clerk is like, Bob Cratchit Esquire, which is an attorney title.
Implies attorney.
So I don't know. Maybe it was kind of more of a mixed shop back in the day, like legal services and lending or something back in old England.
I'll give you the money, and if you get caught slipping, I'll put my pit bull Bob Cratchit Esquire on your ass, bitch. Cratchit will turn your ass like a ratchet. Pat, 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 pat. Give me my money.
With the old shillelagh.
You don't want to crack that, bro. Before they had like 6-shooters and shit, Bob Cratchit be cracking you with that fucking
cracking with the cane,
Southside cane, bro.
Yeah.
Just beating your ass with it.
Crack your piggy bank wide open, get his Scooby
Give me
Snacks
my
bag.
money. They just cut the mattress open with a fucking razor blade and take all your mattress money out of there.
Hell yeah. So, but yeah, it was basically him, and honestly, and it went over like Scrooge's past and like how he became the man he did, and how he didn't have his engagement fell apart because he didn't feel he was wealthy enough to like have to be able to support his bae basically.
Bullshit. If they want to be with me when I'm starving, they don't deserve to be there when I'm feasting. You know what I mean?
But no, she wasn't the problem. It was like Scrooge. He didn't feel like he was good enough.
This
you know
guy
what I mean?
with his self-doubt.
Yeah.
Be like,
and so he just was married to the work, married to it.
Quejones, son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so,
you're good enough.
Yeah.
Wait
and it was just like, work was all consuming.
Over with. I don't know.
It consumed him, and that's why his partner Marley comes back with all these change on, because he's like, oh, these are the change I forged in life, Ebenezer, the change of greed.
Holding you back,
the change of greed, and like just giving your soul to money basically in the pursuit of monetary gain, and neglecting your personal and familial relationships to all at the expense of the paper chase. And that's kind of like what he was warning Scrooge against. It was like, dude, like, you're running out of time, man. Like, you can still kind of have a redemption arc, sort of, and not be a complete miser and a hard ass and just like be uncompromising to the people that owe you money and stuff. Like, you can still kind of save your soul from damnation, essentially, from being just a cold hard asshole.
Yeah, I think, and that's a good message in and of itself, that like, it's, as long as you're living and breathing, it's never too late to like make good. And don't wait till it's too late to end up dying with regret, and live a good balanced life. And that kind of leads me into like how my Thanksgiving was. It was fucking Thanksgiving is the one day a year where I just kind of made like a solemn oath that I will not do anything other than like watch football mainly. So what do I mean by that? Well, I got up in the morning, got on a really good workout, worked out for like maybe an hour, 2 hours, whatever it was, hour and a half, 2 hours. Took the dog for a good walk, nice half-mile walk, got him emptied out, started making phone calls to the people I love that were close to me, and, ended the day, I was throughout the day between games and commercial breaks and shit, I'm calling people. I had my baby with me, so most of the day while, Grandpa and Mom were upstairs kind of working on things, daddy-daughter activities, getting the food together, making the sides, I'm down there with Vinny, and he's, it was just a great day, great relaxing day. Some very exciting football games. Your boys, the Packers, really, it looked like they're making a turnaround in their season. Like, apparently their coach was saying that he was too conservative with this new quarterback, Love, and that he was just kind of let him off his leash, let him have a little more control in what plays they're running and all this, and it worked out beautifully. To all my friends in Wisconsin, man, you must have been fucking celebrating like crazy up there, because they looked great. They were executing difficult plays with ease. They were making it look seamless, and they really brought it to one of the best teams in the league, the Detroit Lions, and beat them on Thanksgiving. And it looks like if they maintain this course of letting him have a little more leeway, scramble more, throw the ball more, that they may end up a wild card team that ends up in the
That'd
playoffs.
be cool. Yeah, I unfortunately didn't catch the game because I was in the theater at that point. But my phone was giving me notifications. I was checking periodically, like intermission. I'm like, oh my god, the Pack is up. Like I thought for sure that they're gonna get their asses kicked.
They dominated the first half and most of the second half, with the exception of Detroit tried to mount
a little
comeback to kind of even it up. I think it was only a touchdown in the difference at the end. But the pressure was on Detroit to try to to make it happen. But Green Bay looked good on both sides of the ball, on offense and defense, and especially offense. So good for them. Of course, I gotta rep my set. I'm a Bears fan, but I real recognizes real. If they're doing good, then it is what it is. The only thing was, we had a great spread. We had smaller birds, so we cooked 2 of them. We had, basically all sides, pumpkin pie, the whole deal. But the one thing that got me a little bit was we had White Castle slider stuffing, and I'm not sure if it was the gravy we had or the White Castle slider stuffing. But the next day, my head was a little groggy. I think it was like maybe a little bit of that MSG poisoning we talk about. You get bad from bad food or whatever. And I don't know if it was the White Castle or what. I don't know for sure. Don't be mad, White Castle. Your food tastes delicious, but it also might have some side effects because let's be honest,
I've had any. Years.
It's not health food,
No, it
is
not.
Comfort food at best. But so yeah, other than that, it was good, and I got a little work done in peace and quiet on some legal work over the weekend, and then I started doing some cleaning. I had some much needed cleaning, just decluttering. We were talking about, what are we talking about here? Well, we're going into the new year. Just had one major holiday. Christmas is coming up next. Even if you're not Catholic, obviously it's the one that wins the day. Everybody knows you got to go out and buy gifts and this craziness. And then you got the new year. So my whole thing is not getting ready, but staying ready. So I've been exercising almost every day. I've been waking up 6 in the morning or a little after, getting in a good, half hour, 45 minutes, hour every day on the weights. So I'm staying ready in that regard. But another thing I want to mention to you was I came across this thing called the Instant Pot. I'm going to repeat that. The Instant Pot.
Sounds pretty cool.
In general, it is God's gift to mankind. Specifically, it's a great way to cook like healthy food quickly. So you can do it. You can chop it up however you want to do it. You can, if you're running errands or whatever on the weekend and you just want to throw in a side dish like some vegetables to cook them up. What it is specifically is a pressure cooker. It takes a while to get to pressure, but once it does, that food is cooked in like 2-3 minutes, depending on what it is. Like I cooked carrots, it was like 2 minutes. Green beans was like a minute because they're already kind of half soft. And then I did some rice in 3 minutes. And it's crazy. You can go from frozen, like it's great for cooking soups in there. You can go from frozen to like fully ready hot like meal or soup or chili within like 10-15 minutes or something crazy. It's insane.
That's pretty sick.
But it's a great way to cook, to eat healthy, because I'm like, if it's a Sunday and I'm prepping for the week, I can put like 2 pounds of carrots in there, 2 pounds of green beans or whatever I want. Last me the whole week. They stay pretty fresh. They don't go that bad, right? Put that in, leave, go out, get some coffee, hit the store, whatever, come back. Boom, those are done. Then, I got to do some stuff around the house. I want to exercise or do a podcast, put in the next thing that I want done. Come back, that's done. And then tonight I want to cook a little meat or whatever. I'm not going to do that in the Instant Pot. I'll do that stovetop, grill top, or in the oven or whatever. And then that's done in like 15-20 minutes. Now I got a whole meal ready to go, and I just did it little by little, like I'm doing a goddamn laundry or something. Set a timer, come back later. Now I got to switch this out, put the next one. Ooh. Easy ways, Thomassen. I'm over here
no fuss.
buying these expensive meal preps. I'm like, it like preserved the flavors in there. I was tasting like the beta carotene and all that vitamins and shit, and the sweetness of the carrots. It like preserved them really well. The only thing I was looking for broth around my house because I heard that broth adds a little extra flavor to the vegetables when you cook them in there. And I looked all over the place, and then after I know it, like I saw a box of, like, there was like 3 things of broth in there just sitting on the floor. I'm like, God bless America. I'm like, I looked in the cabinets, the pantry, the whole deal. I finally find the broth, and I had already cooked all my vegetables.
Yeah.
Or at least the carrots. I think I got the green beans in there. And so exercising, keeping in good shape, man, and getting rid of the vaping. How about that? Here's to another one. Cheers on that shit.
Vaping.
Crack cocaine, that is one of the toughest addictions I've broken in a long time.
Yeah, for me, I remember back in law school, we used to go have a puff of, some Marlboro Reds or some shit like that on the sidewalk.
We'd smoke a couple of cigarettes in a row because we didn't have to keep on going back up and downstairs.
And that was nothing. Like, and maybe I'd have a smoke when I'd be out drinking on a drill weekend or something like that. It was just nothing I ever had a hankering for. Like, cigarettes always made me feel sick. Like I'd kind of been poisoned, and like rapidly, like you take a few good puffs of that, a few good hits of like a Newport, for example. Like, I remember one time at drill, I was smoking a Newport, taking some fat rips off of it. So we were trying to get back into a meeting or whatever. We didn't have that much time for. We had to be back inside, and I was just like, it just hit me. Like I broke out like cold sweats. I was like nauseous, like you're jittery or whatever. I'm just like, oh my God, I feel like I've ingested like rat poison accidentally. I'm like, fuck doing this. Like, it's not even a good time. It's just, I'm just
No.
literally poisoning myself.
No.
And then I got to that point with vaping where it was just like, you have the initial hit, you hadn't vaped in a while, say you hadn't vaped in a week or whatever, you take one fat rip and you're just like, woo, I'm sailing. And then everything after that,
sailing away. Just ride down that slide. Yeah.
But everything after that initial hit is diminishing returns. It's just like less shittier. And the buzz is being replaced with illness feeling. So you get a diminishing buzz and an increased illness feeling. And after a certain point, it's just like I just feel sick. Like, you know, it's just doesn't do it for me anymore.
I hear you 100%. The initial buzz is pretty good, like on the first hit or two.
Yeah.
But I was listening to a podcast. I think it was Dr. Bryan Ardis, his podcast, and he was doing an article review by an article that was written by Dr. Sherry Tenpenny about. I think the title of her article was called "Vaping is Not Cool," and then they go into the reasons why, like, it's not. So he first kind of gives a background on like nicotine, and like nicotine in and of itself, although it can raise blood pressure in certain quantities or maybe just in general, it does have some like properties that can be like healing properties. But he started talking about the whole history of them adding chemicals into cigarettes, and he says that really started in like within the last like 60, 70, 80 years. He's like, it wasn't just natural tobacco that they were using anymore.
Yeah.
They started adding a whole bunch of shit in there to try to make it more addictive. And then he started saying vape, apparently, like, it seems like it's a little more stealthy, so it doesn't seem like it's bad for your health.
It is.
But he said literally when the coil heats that oil, he's like, there's so many toxic byproducts that are emitted into that shit that are just terrible for you. He's like, it's probably as bad or maybe worse than smoking cigarettes. Plus, there's a whole bunch of other chemicals in there too.
I'm sure. God knows what is in there.
Look up popcorn lung from vaping.
Yeah.
And you'll know exactly what we're talking about. If you just Google popcorn lung, apparently the flavorings, a lot of workers who work in food, the food flavoring factories where they make those food flavoring like products, powders, chemicals, whatever, get popcorn lung, and apparently you get it from vaping as well. So that's a thing. That's one of the things. Amongst other things, he's like, there's a lot of carcinogens, all that shit. He's like, you think you're gonna dodge lung cancer because you're not breathing in carbon like you would from a regular cigarette? He's like, guess again. So having said that, it's good that both of us got done with that shit because the benefit is far outweighed by the detriment of doing that.
I don't miss it.
And
I didn't even think about it the whole time I was away in Wisconsin. I didn't even think about it. Not one bit. Not a second. So it's it's I know it was originally pushed as an alternative, like, this is the healthy alternative to cigarette smoking. It's
if
like,
it was just nicotine, maybe, but
now with all the other
Not with all
chemicals
the
they have in
chemicals
it,
that shit
flavorings
about it,
and stuff, and it's just it's just bad business. I even heard about, I didn't look this up, so don't quote me on this, but I heard that in some cases it can actually like cause a collapsed lung, like your fucking lung to collapse.
maybe if the tissue was damaged bad enough or something. That's kind of crazy.
But that's just urban legend, word on the street. I haven't verified that.
Yeah,
I don't want to find out.
The point
though.
is, it's just not good for you.
Yeah, I'd rather just not find out entirely myself.
Well, that was it. That was just a quick catch up. Glad to hear you had a great Thanksgiving with your family. I know I did. I'm blessed to have my wife and my baby boy and everybody else in my family. My mom brought her a nice plate on Thanksgiving and spent it with her while she was eating the plate, and then went back down to my family at the house. And hey, man, we're blessed. I'm thankful that I'm in good health. That I got good friends like you, man, my best friends, and my family around me at Thanksgiving, and a lot of crazy shit going on in the world. We got wars going on over there in Ukraine. That's going on forever. Same thing with now, Israel, and I'm thankful that we are not living in a war zone. Although cities can feel like that sometimes. It's not the same. I always say, kindness is the world's most powerful resource, and we control it, not the government, not some big corporation. It's free, and it helps us to make our neighborhood, our community, the kind we want it to be. So I always tell people, spread kindness all over the world and make it a better place. And, you know, be good to yourself, your family, your community. Stay ready. Be ready to defend yourself. Be ready to protect those around you from anybody, whether it's a person in the street, enemies, foreign and domestic. Don't let them take your freedoms away. Blue Podcast, Blessed Life University Podcast, Blue Podcast for short. It is the university where free speech comes to live, grow, and thrive. Peace to everybody while you're all alive. Be good. We love you. Peace out.
Peace.